Hi guys, hope you're all well. Welcome back to It's Cooking Good. Today I'm going to be cooking beef braciole. Terrible pronunciation to you and I is beef rolls. Thinly sliced beef, which is then stuffed with a mix of Parma ham, pecorino cheese, herbs, bit of garlic. It's then going to be put into a lovely, rich and delicious red wine tomato sauce. And we're also going to make some Pulian bread balls to go with it. Stay tuned, one not to miss. Let's have a look at the ingredients. Okay, so this is what you're going to need. For the beef, I've gone for top side. Thank you to F. Conisbee and Son again for amazing meat. Luckily, going to the butcher, obviously, they just hammered this out for me, so it saved me doing this. This is only 6 slices of top side. If you haven't got it from a butcher, do it yourself. That's absolutely fine. Go for top side. I mean, if you want to be really flash, get fillet or sirloin, but it doesn't need it. Flank works really, really well. But either way, you're going to need to hammer it out so it's really, really thin, like that one there. Then we've got our Parma ham. You've got Parmesan cheese. Now, the Parmesan cheese will be used in both the beef, but also our Pulian bread balls. Parsley, so flat leaf parsley chopped. Again, we're going to use that in the beef and our bread balls. Some dried oregano, about a tablespoon there, that's for the beef. Garlic, that's 3 large cloves of garlic, really finely chopped. That's going to be used in our tomato sauce and for the beef. And then for the sauce itself, I've got some fresh basil, 1 onion diced, 2 tubs of passata. I couldn't get muti. They were all out. I've had to go for Napolini. Gutted, but I'm sure it'll be delicious. We'll work on that, no problem at all. And then here, about 200 millilitres of red wine. Again, any wine that you have got, if it's good enough to drink, it's definitely good enough to cook with. And then for the bread balls, here I've got 3 slices of white bread, which I've just put in the food processor and left it out so it's sort of going a bit stale. 1 egg and about 150 millilitres of milk. Oh, and before I forget, you will need some cocktail sticks to hold these little beef rolls together. So that's it. I'm just going to clean this bench down now, and then we'll get cracking on preparing the beef. Okay, ta-da! It's all gone. Right, the beef. So depending on the size of these pieces of beef, it depends how many rolls you're going to get out of it. You want to trim off any of that excess fat. You don't really want that in there. That bit I'm fine with. It's only a small bit. So I'm actually going to go, probably, I don't want the rolls too big, so I'm going to slice that one down there. We'll start with this one here. Grab yourself a piece of your Parma ham. Again, like always, these things, they come off in sort of bits and bobs. So just sort of fit it to the size. It's a bit like, if you haven't watched the video, the chicken involtinis that I did, it's a similar sort of process. You're just stuffing these up. So that's it. Get that in there. Want a little bit of the garlic, just a little to season. Some of our oregano, some of our parsley. It's actually quite fun to do. It's quite therapeutic, this. And then some of our pecorino cheese or Parmesan, either is absolutely fine. Okay, and then you're going to want a cocktail stick on the ready, and we're going to roll that up. So just over. I mean, I've had these before where, you know, you can make them really big, like massive, big pieces of meat, and then you can cut it like into pinwheels. It's also a really good way of doing it, but this is what I've got. And I'm just going straight through, if you can see that, with the cocktail stick, just to hold that together. And I've got here just a tray, and I'm going to lay them in there. Okay, I'll do this one. I'll do one more, and then I'll crack on with the rest because I don't want to bore you. Hold on. Let's get a bit more of our Parma ham. I'm not actually putting salt and pepper in these because the Parma ham is going to give us that saltiness anyway. I just don't think it's going to need it. And we've also got, obviously, our lovely, rich tomato sauce. So I'm not going to be putting any in here. Some of that cheese. And then just get it all over. And then again, roll it. If you've got a thin bit like that, start with the thin bit. That's it. Roll it. Don't worry if some falls out, we'll use it. And then one of our cocktail sticks. And again, straight through there, like so. I'll see you in a second when I finish the rest. Okay, so there are our beef rolls all done. Plenty there for us. There's only 3 of us eating this evening, so nice eats for us. What I'm going to do now is crack on with making our bread ball mix. And what we need to start by doing is adding this milk to our breadcrumbs. Okay, so we're just going to pour some of that in, all of it in actually, and just give it a mix around. And you're going to look for it to sort of become like a dough mixture. And I'm going to leave that now for 10 minutes, and then I'll come back to it. And then what we're going to do is squeeze out any excess milk, because we don't actually want that in our mix. So I'll see you in a second. Okay, so it's had its 10 minutes, and all I've done with it is I've actually taken it out of here and I've held it over a colander, or a sieve, should I say. Just squeezed it just to get any like excess milk out of that. But I'm happy with how that is now. So all we're going to do, add a bit of ground black pepper. Just season them up. I'll do some salt. Fair bit of salt in there. The remainder of our oregano. We're going to add our parsley. Actually, I'm going to put all of that in, what we had left from our beef rolls. And then our Parmesan cheese. And you're going to want a good amount of Parmesan in here. I'll save some back because we'll probably put some on the dish at the end. And our egg. And then all you're going to do is get your hands in there. Let's chuck that to one side. And then get your hand in and give this all a good mix around. And that is it. That is our bread mix ready. I'll keep that to one side now until we're ready to cook it in a little while. I'll see you shortly when we go over the hob, and let's start pulling the whole dish together. See you then. So our pan's on a medium-high heat, and I've just put half a tablespoon of olive oil in there. Just lay in our beef. All we're looking to do really is seal this all around. And that's going to take, I would say, about 3 to 4 minutes. Okay, we'll just give those a flip. Right, so just get them, as I say, just looking for a bit of colour. Don't need to be too caramelised or anything like that. It's just literally sealing both sides. And we'll give that another 2 minutes that side. Okay, let's remove those from the pan. And what I'll do in the meantime is actually remove those cocktail sticks. Because they've sort of sealed now, that will hold them together. It's enough to sort of seal them and hold them together, so they're not going to fall apart when we put them into our tomato sauce. There you go. I'm now just going to turn that heat down a touch and add in our onion. And just cook that down for about 1.5 minutes before we add our garlic. Okay, now in with our garlic. And in, it's probably, I'd say, a couple of cloves there, and just stir that around. And leave that for a further 2 minutes before we add in the rest of our ingredients. Okay, that's nicely cooked down now, so I'm going to go in with the red wine. I think that will probably be enough for what we need. And just cook that down now for about 2 minutes, just to evaporate some of that alcohol off. Okay, that looks good to me. So now in with our passata. I'm adding 2 in, and the reason being, we probably won't use all of this sauce, but this freezes really well, and I will use it again for another dish, or if I decide to cook this again, I don't have to do this whole step. So in with your basil as well. So I'm just throwing in sort of whole leaves. I'm not even bothering tearing them up. I want a pinch of sugar just to sweeten it up a touch. A little bit of salt, good pinch of salt, and some cracked black pepper. Give it all a good stir in. And we're now going to leave that for about 10 minutes on a simmer. We just want to get it all to know each other, let all of those flavours infuse, and then we'll be ready to add in our beef. Okay guys, while that sauce is simmering away, I'm now just making up my dough balls. I've already made quite a few up. Just basically get your mix. Really simple. I mean, it couldn't be simpler. I'm just plonking them in there. Make them as big or small as you like. I just like them sort of more diddy size. That's it. And you get quite a few from that mix. And they're nice, I'll be honest. These are lovely just on their own. You don't even need to put them in the sauce, to be fair. Make a nice little snack. That's it. And that's all of our mix gone. Put that in there. Okay, and then in here, all I've got is some plain flour. So I'm just going to empty those in there and just coat them in that flour. Don't worry, they will stop sticking together once that's on there. Perfect. That's it. Just needs a light coating, and then I'll put them back in there. Just if they sort of come out of shape, just reshape them. And that is all there is to it. So these are now ready to be fried off. I'll see you back over at the hob. Okay, so that's been simmering now for its time. And if you look, it's thickened up nicely, and that's exactly what we want. So let's go in with our beef rolls and just lay them in like so. And what you want to do is just cover them a little bit with the sauce. So just spoon some of your sauce over the top, just to make sure they're sort of encased. Like so, that's it. I'm going to move those out of the way because now we're going to do our bread balls. So I'm going to put them onto a different hob just to cook them through for about 10 minutes while we do our bread balls. Okay, so our oil is nice and hot. We're now going to go in with our bread balls. Don't overcrowd the pan, but you can put quite a few in here, but just don't go overboard. I'll probably do half at a time. I'd say that looks pretty good to me. And these are going to take about 2 minutes. Okay, so with these, just make sure you sort of give them a little nudge over as they start to get sort of golden brown on the other side. That's it. Just make sure that, you want them nice and evenly coated. There we go. Okay, so these ones have had their time. Let's take them out. Nice and crispy. Just put them into a pan that I've got here with some paper towel in it just to drain them off. And then we'll just go in with our last lot. And then we will be done. I'll see you in a second where we'll add these back into the pan with the beef, with our lovely red wine and tomato sauce. Okay, so that's simmering away nicely now. We've got our beef back. I'm going to add in our bread balls. Not all of them, but just scatter them around. Make sure everyone's getting one of these, or a few of these lovely pillows of goodness. And these are going to now start to suck up some of that lovely sauce as well. It is delightful. That's it. One more for luck. There we go. And just cover those a little bit again in that sauce. So just spoon some over. Get them buried in there. And this is going to need about another minute. And we are ready to give it a go, see how we've done. So I'll see you over at the bench. Cannot wait. Okay, so we are done. Let's give it a try. It smells delicious. So if I was eating with my nose, I'm all over this. I think that's one of the small ones, so that's good for me. Look, just to try it. A little bit of that sauce. What I've also got here, I kept back some of the bread balls that I didn't put in and they're just so light and airy and cheesy. They are lovely. So good. As I said earlier, you could just eat those as a little snack. They're lovely, crispy on the outside, nice and soft on the inside. Right. Let's try, tell you what, let's get a knife. Let's try some of this beef. Give it a cut. All of those goodies inside. That lovely sauce, it looks hot. That is excellent. So, so good. The beef, it's nice and tender, bearing in mind the cut of beef that is, but it's just still so tender because it's so thin. We've sealed it and it's just basically stewed in there. It's delicious. And all the flavors on the inside are coming through. I'll have a bit more of that. Oh, and the sauce. The red wine has really given it a depth of flavor. Unbelievable. And that will be great on pasta. Or just mop it up with some bread, to be fair. Right, let's try the bread ball that's been soaked in. Look, that's gone nice and soft. Taken on those juices. So good. I had those many, many years ago. We went to Puglia. They were one of my favourite things I ate out there. I'll be honest, and I've had them a lot since. They never disappoint. I never get tired of them. They are so, so good. Definitely give this one a go. I know it looks like a lot of work, but actually most of today's video was me talking about the ingredients. If you didn't have to do that, it's actually pretty quick. Anyway, enough of me rambling on, because I want to crack on with the rest of this. I really appreciate you watching through to the very, very end. If you're new to the channel and you're not subscribed, you like the content, please do consider subscribing by clicking on the watermark or the subscribe button down below. If you've got something you'd like me to cook, send it through and I'll cook it for you. I'll put all of the details of all of the elements of this recipe down below in the description as always. And all I've got left to say is, it's cooking good.